Hi everybody, welcome to my first video blog series on marital therapy. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about marital therapy and the common concerns that people have and sort of the stigma that surrounds going to marriage therapy and how you can overcome those roadblocks and start on your path to a happier marriage. So to start off, I wanted to ask you guys what you think of when someone says marital therapy. Well, some of you might think of the movie Couples Retreat, where Jason Bateman and Kirsten Bell's characters are attending marital therapy, and the therapist says, uh, "No, I don't want you to talk about uh, the intelligent part of what you're feeling. I just want you to say in one word, look at your partner and say in one word what you're feeling." And they look at each other and um, they say the one word, and then after that, the therapist says, "Wow, that's great! You guys are doing great." And the couple's really excited, and they feel like they're making some progress, and that's the end of the therapy session. And uh, to wrap up the story, or at least this scene, the James Bateman character says, "Okay, how likely are we to make it as a couple? Like, give us a number on a scale of 1 to 10." And the therapist says, "Well, I can't really, I don't really know. You're doing great." And then Jason Bateman says, "What if someone put a gun up to your head and you had to say, what would you say?" And the therapist it's a really funny scene. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out because it's really hilarious. However, it doesn't really accurately um, describe how marital therapy is. And marital therapy kind of gets a bad rap in the media because of funny movies that are supposed to make fun of the marital therapy process. When it actually, marriage therapy is actually proven to really help out couples and strengthen their relationships. So I'm sure some of you have probably thought of the concerns an individual might have when they're considering uh, going to and seeing a marriage therapist. So, why even go to therapy? Well, that's a great question. Well, so on average, couples don't see a therapist 6 years after serious problems start occurring in their marriage. That's a really long time. I mean, 6 years, I mean, you could do so many things in 6 years, and your problems could escalate and become really serious within that period of time. And if you don't have the necessary tools and skills to fix your relationship in that period of time, by the time you see a therapist, things might be too late because, I mean, let's be honest, the patterns that you've established in your relationship have been rutted down deep, and so it's better when you start seeing problems arise to go to a therapist in order to increase the likelihood of improvement. But that being said, 80 to 90% of couples say that they have not gone to therapy because even when they're experiencing problems in their relationship. That's a lot of people, 80 to 90%. Um, and it's really too bad because therapists are trained in how to make marriages really great, and they can teach you great skills to improve your relationship and help you solve some of the problems that may seem super impossible to solve when really it's something that they see all the time. So that's one of the reasons why therapy is a great thing and a great option that a lot of people don't know about. Statistics have found that 70% of couples who do go to therapy see improvement in their relationships. And that's really great. And it's a great way if you really want to improve your marriage and make it work to reach that goal by going to therapy. So, those are some of the reasons why you should consider getting a marital therapist. And yeah, So some of the other concerns that people have are how much it costs, which when you hear that a great therapist can charge anywhere from $80 to $200 or $500 per session, that scares a lot of people away. However, that's not what all therapists charge, but a lot of them are in the $80 to $120 range depending on your area and their level of expertise. But a lot of therapists will actually, if you excuse me, if you can't pay that much money, they'll be willing to work with you and maybe see if your insurance will cover it, or they'll charge you on a sliding scale based on your income. So there are options. And in reality, if you think about how much marriage therapy costs over the long run, it's still way less expensive than the average divorce, which is around $14,000, which that's crazy, you know. Marital therapy may be something that can save you a lot of money in the long run and save your happiness and a lot of stress that may be caused by divorce and fighting and stuff like that. And then the third problem or concern that people have is they don't even know what to expect or where to start when it comes to marriage therapy. They are interested, but it just feels really overwhelming. So to start out, there are probably lots of therapists in your area, and one of the ways that you can find out who to see is by recommendations from family and friends. And although it might be a little bit embarrassing to ask around and admit that you're looking into marital therapy, it's so worth it, because when people give you actual referrals from therapists that they've seen and worked with and seen improvements with, you're going to most likely have a better experience. Another thing that you can do is you can go on to Psychology Today, and they list all the therapists in your area. You want to make sure that you have someone who has gone to school for your problem. So in couples therapy, you generally want to see a licensed marriage and family therapist, because they've gotten an education in couples therapy. And a lot of therapists say, well, I see couples, but they don't really. So it's really important that you find a therapist who has credentials. Once you've found a therapist that you want to see, what to expect is they have therapists in hospitals, counseling centers, therapists who have private practice, so you might meet them in their home or they might have a separate job on the side, so you might meet them in their office at their other job. So there's lots of different places that you can meet with your therapist, as well as some therapists are starting to do online therapy. So like a Skype call or conference call, you can do therapy that way, and it's a little bit more convenient, but not all therapists do that quite yet, but that's definitely becoming more of a common thing. So once you find your therapist and you set up a meeting time, your first time you'll fill out a lot of paperwork. It's like going to the doctor. You have to fill out insurance stuff, kind of basic information so that the therapist can get to know you a little bit better, and liability, you pay for it, stuff like that. And then you'll meet with the therapist, and in the first session, it'll probably just be kind of getting to know you, what are the problems that you are facing, and so the therapist can kind of get an idea of what they want to help you with. Then they'll set up a second time for you to meet, and it'll probably be pretty soon, because most couples who are looking for marriage therapy are going to want to get help really soon. So they'll set up a second meeting with you, and then the second meeting they'll get down to business and start discussing what your goals are in therapy and creating a treatment plan for you. At least that's what they should do. And if they don't, then you should probably look for a different therapist because you want to see results and know where you're going with therapy. So, and then after that, you're just working on your treatment plan and working towards your goals of becoming a closer couple and solving your problems. So, those are all the questions that I have for this video, but stay tuned for tips on how to pick a great therapist.